What's up everyone, it's the day of the 13th eviction of Big Brother 23 and Kyland has came at Big D. Also, who's ready for a blindside? Because I certainly am. We've got so much to talk about, folks, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, now right before we get started, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps me out, as well as hitting the like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting my videos out there more. I just appreciate that so much when y'all do that, when y'all hit the subscribe and like button, so please do that folks. I'd really appreciate it. Okay folks, because this is going to be a big theme in today's video regarding Big D's game. This is kind of an entertaining point we're going to get onto shortly. But the question of the day is actually, do you think Big D has played a good game? Or more so, what do you think of Big D's game? I'll put the prompt down in the comment section below. But folks, that is today's question. Do you think Big D has played a good game? And if so, what's he done that's made him play good? I'm trying to think, and I can't think of much. But folks, that question's up to you. Alright guys, so Xavier is laying the groundwork for the blindside tonight, which is super exciting. Whilst, I know a lot of people aren't necessarily thrilled with this Final Four, as a Big Brother fan, getting a blindside in the Final Four excites me very much, and it's certainly going to make my Thursday night a lot better. In my opinion, watching an eviction is very different to watching a blindside, so for me that just excites me more as a Big Brother fan. So he is literally being taught, it's no sympathy whatsoever, which I love. That's what Big Brother should be about. It's about playing cutthroat and not caring really what, I know it sounds horrible, but not caring about people's feelings, because they signed up for Big Brother, and if it means you have to hurt a couple feelings to get the $750,000, then you've got to do that in my eyes. There's no point playing families and happy friends when there's that much money on the line. You've known these people for less than 3 months. You've known your family all your life, and your friends. That's how I see it anyway. So I'm kind of glad Xavier's laying it on thick, trying to get Big D to take the blame, because obviously Big D's going to be the person who casts the sole vote. And this is the fun thing. He's literally saying to him straight up, "You're going to be fine. Don't worry. Everything's going to be great, bro." And Kyland saying, "Thank you. I appreciate it." And he's really believing it. So, folks, we're going to have a blindside tonight. I am so excited. And unless something drastically changes, we are going to have a blindside tonight. And I want to know if everybody else is excited as I am for that, because I am thrilled for that. I cannot wait. So excited. And speaking of tonight as well, whilst we're on the topic, I totally forgot to mention this. I'm doing a live video. I did one last week on eviction night. So folks, I'll be live 1 hour before the show, chatting. It'll be super casual. It's always that kind of thing. Might have a little drink, and just, it's like a Q&A kind of thing. You guys can come on, ask me questions about Big Brother. Might not be about Big Brother. It's super chill though. It's nothing formal. Literally, come on guys, ask some questions and we'll have some fun and get ready for the eviction tonight. So folks, that's an hour before the show tonight on my channel. Xavier was telling Arza and Derek separately about the moment in which, he was making Kyland feel comfortable and all that sort of stuff, and they were calling him arrogant, which I didn't like at all. That's so unfair. And listen, I get it, it's a game, but the fact that they're pulling the wool over his eyes and making him feel like he's comfortable, of course it's going to come across like he's arrogant. He's going to be totally oblivious. If you're making somebody feel like they're comfortable, then chances are they're going to try and feel comfortable. I don't think it's arrogance from Kyland. It's just he's been made to feel comfortable, so that's how he's acting. I don't necessarily think there was a need to do that. Listen, yes, it's what I don't like about Big Brother, because we haven't had much of it this season, but it's happened a lot in previous seasons, where when somebody's heading out the door, they are kind of alienated from the house, and people kind of treat them like dirt, essentially, and I don't like that. And it didn't happen much this season, but this week it's kind of happened quite a bit, and I don't like that. I love the blindside aspect of things, of people playing the game hard, but what I don't like is kind of people talking and saying nasty things about Kyland behind his back, because whilst yes, Kyland has made a few blunders in this game and hasn't played the game the best, maybe played for Sarah Beth a little bit, he's a nice guy, or he comes across as a nice guy, and people shouldn't be trashed on that level and calling him arrogant because they've made him feel comfortable. Say if he knew he was, say if nobody had tried to make him feel comfortable and he's like, I'm staying, I'm not going anywhere, that's fair to call him arrogant at that point. But when they've gone out their way to kind of manipulate him into believing he's staying, that's when it's a bit awkward, them saying that. Don't know what you guys think of that situation. Kyland has came at Big D in regards to telling him, "You're being really cocky, Big D, with all your talking that you're doing and all that." And I think Kai's maybe trying to just light a little fire under Big D's belly there. I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, we know Kai's a talker as well, so we know he's capable of saying things like that. But equally, Big D, in a way, if anybody's being the arrogant one in the house, I do think it's Big D. So I think Kyland kind of had a right to come at him there, in my opinion. And that set off Big D a lot. He went on and on and on and on and on, and really took that to heart and started listening, to all to people in the house. This went on ages, by the way. He was talking about all of his achievements in the house and everything he's done. So he said this. He was talking to Arza, and he said all this, folks. I created the cookout. I managed the cookout. I brought the cookout to be the most successful alliance ever. Xavier and I did very similar moves, talking to people. This guy seriously believes all that. He believes he's led the cookout all the way through. I mean, what did Tiffany do? Did she do nothing? I mean, did X do nothing? I mean, he makes it sound like he was like the leader and X kind of did a little bit behind the scenes. I mean, even Kyland did some stuff. I'll even credit Arza a little bit for a social game. And Hannah worked hard as well. Big D truly believes he's like this mastermind, and he feels like I think he thinks he's entitled to this win, and he believes he's like, and even I'm pretty sure he said, I don't want to, like the other day he said something like, I don't want to look like a threat for the next couple of weeks. He truly believes that he's this BB mastermind, and it's incredible to watch. Which brings me back to my point. I think it's fair that Kyland came at him and said that. He is being cocky. And he has been arrogant, even though the word arrogant wasn't said for Big D. I'm pretty sure, later in the day, Big D said, you might as well call me Cocky D now because of all the cocky things I said. He really took that personally. What have I been talking about, folks? I've been talking about how, people who believe that they are incredible at doing something and are an expert in a certain area, all that sort of stuff, stroking their ego is extremely good for your game, because they'll believe their lies more and more and more. They'll believe their own delusions more and more and more. But what did I also say? When you tell somebody who believes those things so strongly that they can't do them, it will make them go off like a rocket ship. And go off like a rocket ship Big D did there, because he went on and on and on and on, listing all of his accomplishments and everything he's done. I mean, and that links back to my question of the day as well, folks. Do you think Big D's played a good game? And if so, what has he done? What has he done? I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on that. And I will say as well, because on this channel I critique game. I don't critique people on the personal level. I will specify I think Big D is quite entertaining when he's like, joking around and kind of, entertaining the house. But when he's like this, just game-wise, look at me, I'm lost for words. I don't have anything to say in regards to Big D playing the game. Because has he really played the game? I don't know. Listen, there's going to be people who think he hasn't, people who think he hasn't. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to it, and I would love to hear everybody's opinion and what y'all think of Big D's game. One thing is for sure now, after all that rigmarole, Big D is definitely more comfortable in sending Kyland home tonight. He obviously pressed those buttons there, and I guess in a way you could look at it and say maybe Kyland got a little bit too confident, telling the person who's off the block that they are cocky, but heck, he's been led to believe that he's safe when he is most certainly not. Blindside. Blindside, folks. It's so exciting. Listen, some of the best moments in Big Brother history are blindsides where people don't see it coming. Now, whilst I know a lot of people would prefer a different house guest of the four to be blindsided, it's a blindside nonetheless, which is kind of exciting. But Big D is certainly more comfortable in pulling the trigger now. If he needed any push, because obviously we saw all week Xavier kind of going backwards and forwards about, should I bring Arza off the block with the veto and make her pull the trigger? Because Arza has shown she is basically, she's gagging to be the person to pull the trigger, but X is kind of going, who am I going to go with? I'm just going to try and, work and finesse on Big D all week to try and get him comfortable enough to do so. But it turns out Xavier didn't even need to do anything, because Big D was feeling uncomfortable about it. But now that Kyland's pushed those buttons and called him cocky, Big D now believes that he's Cocky D, and Cocky D is about to send Kyland out the door on a blindside. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please, please, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on how you have felt about this week. Was Xavier a good head of household? Should Big D pull the trigger on Kyland tonight? And are you guys hoping it's going to be a blindside, or would you like Kyland to find out? And also, who would you like to see win part 1 of the final head of household competition? That's crazy I'm even saying that now. We are actually coming to the end of the season, folks. Who would you like to win part 1 of the final head of household competition, folks? There's so much to talk about, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And quick reminder, folks, I talked about this earlier in the video. I will be going live tonight ahead of the eviction 1 hour before, just for a totally casual, fun kind of Q&A kind of thing. We'll have some drinks, maybe some good food, you know, that sort of thing. Probably not food because I'm not going to wait on camera, but, you know, y'all bring your food along, grab a drink, and we'll just have some fun, guys. Quick Q&A about the show. It'll be good times, get us all hyped up for the eviction tonight. But, folks, thank you so much for watching. I'll say as I always do, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there, and be kind to one another. But, folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.